Hello, BookTube, and this is the Future History Project. It's reading for week 11. Yes, we have finished week 10. Uh, it's it's been okay, I think. I've been enjoying it. Even the three iRobot stories, the novels, the trilogy, was a bit of a down on the scale of stories, but that's fine. Next week, this past week, I think they were very good. We did a story called Blot by Hal Clement, which was okay. A little heavy handed maybe, but it was interesting. Uh, Cal, a robot who wanted to become a writer and potentially a murderer at the end. And then Kid Brother. Kid Brother, I had not read before. That was actually new to me. And then, which well, I really enjoyed that one. And then we read Last Question, which could very well have been, according to his widow Janet Asimov, it was his favorite story. It certainly did well, and I've read it over the years, and every time I read it, it sort of bubbles around and bounces around in my mind for days and for a while after every time I do that. So I think that means it's good. And then one of my favorites was Christmas Without Rodney. Was the last one. That was one I thought I had not read, but as soon as I got a couple paragraphs in it, all of a sudden it came flashing back, and I remembered it all. So that was good, and that is something that I thoroughly enjoy, and I'm going to put it on my sort of Christmas reading list. It's very short, take 10-15 minutes to read. But next week, we are beginning a series of books, six of them. I have copies of them, but they're inaccessible at the moment. I've got some of the others. There's three series of six books that are very similar. They're juvenile. They're young adult type things. They're very short. They're less than 200 pages each, and some of them have quite a few pictures in at the end. And that's the kind of thing they look like. This is not it. This is Robot City. This is another series, but they look like this. They're very short. These are mass market paperbacks. I bought these about a decade ago in anticipation to read them, but life got in the way. So luckily I've had those. They're not that easy to find. You can find electronic copies out there, and that's what I'm going to read because I can't access the first six at the moment. Hopefully, as we go on, maybe next week I might be able to dig them out. But the first two that we're reading next week, yes, we're going to read two a week to sort of speed things up a bit because they are short. They like we read one of the Susan Calvin ones per week, and this is less pages, and I'm sure it'll go much quicker. They're all written by William F. Wu, who is a uh, he's written a lot of stuff, and uh, he wrote a bunch of these. I think this was the first. I think it was It's Robots in Time that we're doing. He was the first author commissioned by the Asimov estate to write sort of pastiche or any other material. He was the first one, other than I guess the books that were written in the short stories in Foundation Friends. So those are actually I guess actually first. But we'll be reading Predator and Marauder, and as I say, they do kind of look like this. I'll put one up, or at least the top part of it, with maybe the robot's head, if I can, as the thumbnail, so you got an idea of what they look like. And then for week 12, we'll continue on with volume 3 and 4, which is Warrior, and then Dictator, and then week 13, 5, Emperor, and 6 we finish up Invader. Then we're back to Isaac Asimov. We do Light Verse, which is, it's in a number of collections. If you've got the complete robot, then it's in there. And then we've got one called Too Bad. That's in Robot Visions. We've read from that this past week. And one that's called That Thou Art Mindful of Him. And that's in the complete robot as well. And then we move on to 2 that are from Foundation Friends. I've moved one of these up, but not this. Carhunters of the Concrete Prairie by Robert Sheckley, and that's in Foundation Friends. And the one I've moved forward, just to make sure we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that week, is Strip Runner by Pamela Sargent, Foundation's Friends. I think I've read these 2. I haven't read everything from Foundation's Friends. I've only read a few stories from there, so I'll know once I start reading these. And then for week 15, we're going to do the novella. It's fairly long, but Bicentennial Man, and it's in Bicentennial Man and Other Stories. And I think it's in Complete Robot as well. I'll have to check that, but if it's not, it'll be in Bicentennial Man and Other Stories. But then following that, we're going to read the novelization the same week called The Positronic Man, and that was written by Isaac Asimov and Robert Silverberg. I don't know how much of a collaboration it was, other than maybe Robert Silverberg wrote the novel from the novella, and then Asimov just sort of signed it off. I'm not sure. That'll be something that I'll see if I can find some information about that. And then week 16, we're doing one that is sort of it's not officially part of the future history, but then again it is, in a sense, because he was going to have this in, because they do refer to this Nemesis planet, and it's called Nemesis, the novel. And so we'll read that for week 16, and a short story, because I think that falls into that place. I didn't want to move, because it's not a robot story, so I wanted to move it. I didn't want to move it too far up, so it's where it was, and it's called Mother Earth, and that is considered part. I don't remember that story. I know I've read it. It's in early Asimov, and I've read all the early Asimov, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But we'll read that after Nemesis. And then we get into the robot novels. The Caves of Steel for week 17. And The Naked Sun for week 18. And then we'll do the Elijah Bailey and Daniel Olva short story called Mirror Image, and that's in The Complete Robot. And then for week 19, we'll hop into Robots of Dawn. After Robots of Dawn for week 20, we will be, I think it's Robot City. We'll do 6 of those, and then we get into a heavy stretch of non-Asimov material before we come back to Robots and Empire. So we will have a stretch there of non-Asimov material. For anybody who's not doing the non-Asimov material, that'll be a break at that point. But next 3 weeks will be a break as well for you if you're doing that. Also, something else on the horizon, which is scheduled for Sunday the 13th, this coming Sunday, is a live. That'll be the first live for the Future History Project. It'll be myself, Scott Danielson, and Scott Bryant. We will be discussing, in particular, the Mickey Zucker-Reichardt's trilogy, I, Robot, the Susan Calvin trilogy, but also how it fits in or doesn't fit in to the Asimov robot series. And maybe, and then we'll just talk about other things, Isaac Asimov, the robot series in general, and field any questions. So please do stop by and ask us some questions. And that will be at 7 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, so UK time. Now, a little bit of warning here that this weekend in North America, you go into daylight savings time over Saturday night, Sunday morning. We don't here in the UK. We don't change until the 27th of March. Therefore, whatever time difference that there normally is, it'll be less. It'll be 1 hour less. So if you're Eastern Standard Time, the 7 p.m. will be sorry, I'm just thinking here. It'll be 3 p.m. It'll be 3 p.m. So just figure that out. It'll actually say on if you look down in your subscription and you see the scheduled, it'll say what time it is for you. And the best thing is probably just to click the reminder. Is the easiest thing, so you don't forget if it is something that you're interested in. So yeah, so that's the plan. So down below, in the description section will be for the next, there'll be 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 9 weeks. There'll be 9 weeks, the next 9 weeks listed. So there's just a slight change from the next 9 weeks than from the master list that I had sent out last year. So just follow. The best thing is to follow every Friday what I put in for the following week, in case there are some last minute changes. I don't foresee anything else changing now, more or less till the end. But who knows? Other things may crop up. Anyway, take care, BookTube, and do join us on Sunday for our live discussion. Take care.